Are these K-pop auditions a scam? Now you might be thinking, K-pop auditions are generally free. How on earth could they be a scam? Well, that's what I'm going to get into in this video. If you're a big fan of K-pop, you probably know about K-pop global auditions. K-pop global auditions are where really famous K-pop companies will go out of their way to search the globe for their next big star. Hundreds of thousands of kids will apply for these auditions, especially for the top three companies, SM, YG, JYP, and Hybe Entertainment. These four companies will go to various countries, including China, Japan, South Korea, the USA, Canada, and Europe, in search of their next big global star. And many of you guys who are watching this video right now may have even gone to these auditions and seen what it's like. During these global auditions, the companies will usually announce on Instagram that they are searching for a brand new star, and they'll give you an age range, a location, an application, etc. Kids will submit their pictures and videos of them singing and dancing in hopes that they get selected as the next big K-pop idol. If they're selected by the company will spend years funding their K-pop journey. This includes training. The company will invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in their personal training. They will spend years learning how to sing, model, dance, and even speak multiple languages. K-pop idols are expected to train with their company from anywhere for 2 to 10 years before debuting as a K-pop idol. Many trainees will train for up to 12 hours per day, and they basically lose their childhood. Even though it is very rare to pass your K-pop audition, less than 1% chance, there's an even smaller percent chance that you debut to become a K-pop idol, and even smaller percent chance after that that you debut to become successful. Many companies select hundreds of trainees to train, but end up dropping more than 99% of the people that they invest in. You might wonder what makes me qualified to talk about this subject. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Bianca. I trained with SM and YG entertainment coaches for multiple years. You might know me from TikTok, where I talk about my experience training in the K-pop industry. I've made a name for myself on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, where I talk about how you can pass your K-pop audition. But today is my first time diving into a video on the dark side of the K-pop audition industry and why the K-pop industry is selling a false dream. But let's get into the real part of this video. So number one, K-pop auditions are a marketing scheme because companies only select people who already have training. So if you're going to this K-pop audition thinking that the company is going to invest in you and believe in your potential, these K-pop companies only select people who already have developed skills like singing and dancing and also visuals. There are also tens of thousands of professional models and dancers who are auditioning through these global audition systems. So even though it may look like this person was just scouted off the street and they became the next K-pop idol, in reality, they were already professional. Take Karina from aespa, for example. She was already really popular on Instagram and social media. So even though she was quote unquote a regular girl auditioning for the K-pop global audition and getting scouted, the odds were already rigged. If you were just an average person walking into that K-pop audition, you would stand no chance against a girl like her. Here's another example. Ning Ning from aespa was already singing on television when she was scouted by SM Entertainment. Another reason why some of these K-pop global auditions are kind of like a scam is because K-pop companies largely prioritize Nepo babies. So you might be thinking, if I audition for this K-pop global audition, I might stand a chance to be able to stand next to a Nepo baby if I work really hard and if I take dance class and if I become really good at singing, if I learn Korean. A lot of kids go to these K-pop auditions thinking that they're going to become the next K-pop idol and that the company will make them famous by training them, when in reality, the companies are bent on pushing these Nepo babies, largely because the Nepo babies' families tend to funnel a lot of money into the Korean entertainment system. So a Nepo baby is more likely to naturally win because they're able to afford the top tutors, they're able to afford the top plastic surgeons. These K-pop companies run by rich families that are trying to promote their children to the world. So you would always be in the shadow of that member. A lot of these companies don't want to put their money down into their trainees, and the Nepo babies are always going to win because they are able to subsidize their entertainment education. K-pop Nepo babies can afford access to classes that many other K-pop trainees do not have access to. The entertainment system is expensive, and a lot of K-pop companies don't want to invest upfront on their K-pop trainees. Instead, they want the K-pop trainees to spend the money on themselves and invest in themselves so that they arrive at the K-pop companies as a full package, as opposed to the companies investing in the potential of the talent. So take Wonyoung from IVE, for example. She is the daughter of an extremely rich chaebol family, and part of the reason why she's so successful is because of her money and her family background. Even though IVE has many group members, they continuously push Wonyoung as the star. Imagine training for 10 years to become a K-pop trainee only to end up next to Wonyoung, and the whole time the spotlight is on her. The stylists don't give you anything that looks good in the wardrobe, and nobody pays as much attention to you as they do to her. It will feel entirely unfair. Even if you get into the K-pop company and you become a K-pop trainee, you are expected to pay back the company for all of the training expenses that the company invests into you. This can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some trainees train for years and end up with lots of trainee debt. Training in a K-pop company is kind of like being a student at a university, except there is no guarantee that you're going to get your degree. So the company could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on you, and depending on if you are at a small or a large company, smaller companies are less likely to be able to expend all of your training expenses for you. So if you're at a small independent company, you may have a slightly higher chance of debuting, but additionally you have a lot higher chance of accruing trainee debt. So it's kind of like how at university you accrue a lot of student debt. Trainees can accrue trainee debt, and it ends up being a very costly expense for them. Additionally, some trainees have to go to school. A lot of the poorer trainees will go to school in the daytime and then do K-pop training at nighttime. And this can be extremely exhausting for them. Meanwhile, the richer trainees may not have to go to school because they don't have to worry as much about finding a job after doing their K-pop training. So if you get scouted at a global audition, yes, you may become a trainee, but the K-pop industry is very much a sink or swim type industry, and if you don't have the professional experience, the chances of you debuting are extremely slim. Every K-pop group always has at least one extremely rich member. Take Jin from BTS, for example. He is a Nepo baby, albeit a very talented Nepo baby. During his time training for BTS, his family was funding a lot of his personal life, his ability to eat, and he even helped some of the other members afford their ability to eat when they were training. So money is an extremely important system in the K-pop industry. That's why there's always at least one Nepo baby per group. Additionally, there are a large amount of K-pop training companies that are not music labels, but they do help people who want to become K-pop trainees learn how to train outside of the K-pop training system for a fee. So sometimes people will pay money to take official K-pop dance classes, K-pop singing lessons, or to hope that they will ace their next global audition. For example, there is a place called the K-pop Center in LA, and a lot of kids go there in order to take dance classes, singing lessons, etc., in hope of becoming a K-pop idol at the next global audition. These classes are always extremely expensive, and a lot of the times the poor trainees can't even afford to take these classes. So therefore, the K-pop system is naturally selecting for Nepo babies and or people with money. Additionally, some of the non-Nepo K-pop trainees still have to go to work and school on top of their regular training hours. If you have to go to work to sustain yourself in order to have enough money for food, enough money for your rent, it can get extremely stressful and just entirely unrealistic. As the K-pop industry matures into 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th generation K-pop trainees, it's only going to get more and more competitive. The companies are going to want trainees with higher and higher skills, and it's only going to get more unrealistic. Another thing to keep in mind about the K-pop global auditions are the connections that the Nepo babies have in comparison to any foreign auditionees. So Korean Nepo babies, their families will have lots of connections within the K-pop entertainment industry, in which their powerful families may be able to negotiate a debut date for them. Whereas if you're a foreigner trying to debut with a group, you have to get extremely lucky. You would have to be the right height and speak the right languages. You would have to be the top dancer, the top singer, and the top visuals somehow to be able to debut within this group, and speak multiple languages all within a very young age. It is extremely rare for someone to have all of the abilities that these K-pop companies require from an extremely young age. A lot of K-pop auditionees only excel at one of the 5 skills. That includes singing, dancing, visuals, modeling, and foreign languages. Let's talk about foreign languages. It is very common for Korean Nepo babies to study abroad, so therefore they are usually going to be fluent in Korean and English at the very least. That sets them ahead of a lot of American children who, even though they may be fluent at Korean and English, they will not be Korean native. So anytime you think that, oh, I far outcompete my peers in a specific category, just remember that when you go to a K-pop global audition, there are also Korean teenagers and Korean natives who probably have the same skill level at you, but their selling point is that they are Korean. And at the end of the day, the K-pop industry will always like to promote Korean nationals because it is good for the K-pop industry and for the Korean morale. So I was training to become a K-pop idol for a couple of years, and I was getting really, really good at singing. I liked my visuals. I'm able to speak multiple languages, so I felt that I had a really good chance of becoming a K-pop idol. One of the reasons why I stopped was because I realized that the K-pop industry is a business at the end of the day. And if you become a K-pop idol, you will have no creative freedom. And even though the label's marketing strategy is probably going to be very successful if you're in one of the top 3 entertainment companies, it can be really, really scary as a trainee. Many trainees go through periods of imposter syndrome, and there's also a lot of bullying within the K-pop industry, which I will get to in another video. Another aspect of the K-pop audition system that is kind of a marketing scam is the Korean beauty standard. I want to talk about the plastic surgery because in America, we have completely different beauty standards than in Korea. But basically in Korea, there is a very specific standard of beauty, including having a V-line jaw, an extremely tiny nose, large eyes, pretty lips, pale skin, and tall height. Being able to meet all of these Korean beauty standards is very, very difficult. And a lot of Korean teenagers will get plastic surgery at a young age just as a graduation gift from high school. The fact that having plastic surgery is already a predecessor to being able to work in the K-pop industry and to be able to join the K-pop industry is extremely unrealistic. In that sense, the K-pop industry is selling you a false narrative to look up to. The global auditions become way less about finding future K-pop trainees and way more about marketing the K-pop dream to young kids. Basically, what these companies are doing is they are going around the world and saying, hey, we're looking for our next K-pop idol. And they make sure that the word gets out, that people tell their friends, they get nervous, they say, hey, come with me to this K-pop audition. Even if their friend doesn't listen to K-pop music, they might think, oh, wow, I have a chance to become a star. And once they're hooked on this narrative, they're going to be hooked into the K-pop industry for the rest of their childhood. They will spend hours and hours funneling their money into K-pop training, into plastic surgery potentially, and into many other K-pop related purchases. So the K-pop auditions real goal is not to find the next K-pop idol, but in fact, it is actually to market you the dream of becoming a K-pop idol so that you will buy more K-pop related merchandise. Whether you're buying more albums or watching more K-pop music videos, whether you're buying more K-pop classes or K-pop makeup or thinking about getting Korean plastic surgery, try to think about whether or not it is that you actually enjoy singing and dancing or if you're just really hooked on the idea and the dream of becoming a K-pop idol. They are not really actually providing you the dream. So if you just went to the YG, JYP, SM, or HYBE label auditions and you didn't hear back, try not to worry about it too much because at the end of the day, if you didn't get picked, you always have next year to try again. Although, if you do decide to try again, think twice about spending thousands of dollars on K-pop training classes or on dance classes. The K-pop audition industry and the K-pop training system is extremely overglorified. In fact, it is not fun at all. I mean, that's kind of a lie. I remember when I was doing K-pop training, it was extremely fun and I really did enjoy it. But there were many, many times in which I felt like I was having a really hard time. You know, they can only debut so many people, and you basically know that all the people who are your friends, you're either going to debut with them, or you're going to have to steal a position from them, or both. not get into the final debut. So it's a really stressful and competitive place to be, especially when you're a teenager and you have no understanding of how the world really works. I ended up working freelance as a model and a commercial actress these past couple of years, and it's been extremely fun. I've learned a lot, but I've also learned a lot more on how to protect myself. Companies are for-profit entities, so they're very much looking to make as much money as possible off of young people. I think it's the artist's job to learn how to protect themselves from companies that may be motivated to profit off of the inexperience of a young person. That's why I'm making more videos like these. Now, does this mean that you should still audition to become a K-pop trainee? If you are truly passionate about singing and dancing, if you love K-pop and you think that you have something special, definitely show up to your next K-pop global audition, because you never know what can happen. You only live once and your dreams are totally worth pursuing. So I hope that you enjoyed this video of mine. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and comment down below any questions that you have about the K-pop industry. I'll be sure to respond to them in my next video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.